Hello and welcome back to the classes of Mastering Biology. Let's learn biology in an easier way. So here I am to explain you today how the circulation of blood takes place in case of different organisms. And here we will talk about fish and humans. These are the two comparative organisms that we will talk about. But before that, I would just like to share an information with you, which is that in case of fish, it has two chambers only. These are the number of chambers, that is one auricle and one ventricle. All right. In case of amphibians, there are three chambers, two auricles and one ventricle. In case of reptiles, again there are three chambers. That is, we have two auricles and one incompletely partitioned ventricle, right? And birds and mammals both have four chambers, completely partitioned, two auricles and two ventricles. These are completely partitioned, two auricles and two ventricles. So this is the information you should be knowing about the number of chambers in different organisms. Yes, I have an exception here in case of reptiles. Reptiles normally have three chambers, two auricles and one partially divided ventricle, but the exception here is crocodile. Crocodile has completely partitioned four chambers like the birds and the human beings. All right, the mammals. So let us proceed with the circulation in case of fish and in case of humans. In case of fish, we call it as single circulatory system. Why it is called as single circulation? When we use the word single, it definitely means, the literal meaning of the word single is one. All right. So, when the blood enters heart only once during the cycle, during one cycle, it is called as single circulation. All right. So here I would write single circulation. That is a better word. Single circulation. All right. So blood will enter here only once in the cycle. How? The deoxygenated blood is collected in the heart, the auricle. It is sent to the ventricle. All right. Then this blood goes to gills for oxygenation. And now this oxygenated blood is directly sent to the body parts. So body parts, the deoxygenated blood is collected in the heart. Through auricle, it goes into the ventricle. From ventricle, it goes to gills. We've already studied how gaseous exchange takes place in case of gills, in case of fish in the gills. So gaseous exchange takes place here. The blood gets oxygenated. And once this blood is oxygenated, this oxygenated blood does not go back to heart for distribution. From here, directly, it is sent to the body parts. This is why we say it is single circulation. This is why we say this is single circulation. Because how many times is the blood entering the heart? Only one time. This single circulation has a very, very crucial role in case of fish. In case of fish, this prevents mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. The role that was taken by the presence of septum in case of the human heart that we studied in the previous video. The septum was preventing the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Here, single circulation is the way to prevent mixing of the blood. So this is how circulation takes place in case of fish. Let us talk about human beings. In case of humans, it is known as the double circulatory system or the double circulation. As the name suggests, double means twice. So the blood is entering heart in 2 times. Once it enters as deoxygenated blood, and other way is oxygenated blood. These are the 2 forms of the blood which are entering the heart. When we studied the structure of the heart, we came to know that right side of the heart carries deoxygenated blood and the left side of the heart will always carry the oxygenated blood. So see, the deoxygenated blood is collected in the right auricle. It is sent to the right ventricle. From right ventricle through pulmonary artery, it is sent to lungs for oxygenation. Once the blood is oxygenated, it is sent into the left auricle, then the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it is pushed through aorta for distribution. So it is distributed. Now you see the right auricle, the right ventricle, the pulmonary artery. It is carrying deoxygenated blood and sending the blood to lungs for oxygenation. And once it is oxygenated, again it is sent to heart via the pulmonary veins. So the blood is entering heart twice in one cycle, once in the deoxygenated form and next in the oxygenated form. This is what is known as double circulation. Now I would like to add here 2 more terms for your knowledge, and these 2 terms are the systemic circulation and the pulmonary circulation. when I say systemic circulation and when I say pulmonary, if you remember, I have already told you that whenever lungs will come into existence, lungs will come into the scene, we will call it as pulmonary circulation. So here, which part of the circulation will be pulmonary and which part will be the systemic? Let's have a look with the help of this flow chart itself. The blood which is collected from the right ventricle entering into pulmonary artery, going to lungs for oxygenation and coming back to the left auricle of the heart via the pulmonary vein. This part is called as pulmonary circulation. That means a place where lungs are involved. From right ventricle to left auricle, whatever is happening is a part of pulmonary circulation. The remaining, the blood leaves the left ventricle, enters outer, distributed to body part, recollected in the form of deoxygenated blood and entering the right auricle. This one is known as systemic circulation. So these two types of circulation are happening in the human heart. The pulmonary circulation, where oxygenation of blood is taking place in lungs, and the systemic circulation, where all the other body parts are involved, whether the blood is oxygenated or it is deoxygenated. But then it begins from the left ventricle and ends up between the right auricle. That means the passage of blood between the left ventricle to right auricle is the systemic circulation. Please mind it, उल्टा नहीं लिख सकते हैं हम. We cannot write the passage of blood from right auricle to left ventricle. वो लिख दिया, गलत हो जाएगा. So systemic circulation will always start from left ventricle and end up in the right auricle. So this is the part of double circulation. Why we call it double circulation? Because the blood enters the heart twice. Once in the oxygenated form and once in the deoxygenated form. All right. Now, why is this required? In case of birds and mammals, these are known as warm-blooded animals. Birds and mammals. Why are they called as warm-blooded? Because they spend energy to maintain a constant body temperature. To maintain a constant body temperature, these organisms continuously spend energy, and so they are called as warm-blooded animals. Here, the efficiency of the pumping organ is much better. Whereas in case of your cold-blooded organisms, which include fish, amphibians, and reptiles, what are they doing? The amphibians, fish, and reptiles, they change their body temperature according to the changing environmental temperature. That means they do not adjust with maintaining a constant body temperature. They find it better and easier. That's the way their mechanism is, that they change their body temperature according to the external environment. Whereas in our case, we belong to warm-blooded animals and we maintain a constant body temperature, and for that purpose we need constant energy. That means that's the reason where we need continuous supply of oxygen, because respiration is the only process by which energy is released, and part of it is used here to maintain a constant body temperature. And this constant body temperature helps to keep our body warm every time. That is the reason we feel cold during winters and hot during the summers, because we are maintaining a constant temperature and not adjusting to the environmental conditions. All right. So this is about the warm-blooded and the cold-blooded organisms. Now I'll talk about the sounds of the heart and the blood pressure in the next video. And I would also talk about the next system, which is the lymphatic system. So till then, keep revising and take care of yourselves. Thank you.